Eyes down for the Morning folks, Monday, 5/8 by 14 BSF, it's in the lathe. Let's get it cracked on with. And there we are folks, job done. I'm not very happy with that die. Although it was cheaper than the second-hand ones on the market. But I might have been better off buying a second-hand British-made one. Because that really chewed the thread out of it and it was very difficult to get started. But, strange anomaly. You see the micrometers out. Strange anomaly. According to the speedy cut tables, which I always rely on, and I've checked it in all the others and it's the same, the nominal diameter of the thread is 0.625. Can you see it there? Am I on it? Yes. 5/8, 0.625, 14 TPI. So, I turned it to 0.625, actually 0.624, but close enough, and the die wouldn't start. And I thought to myself, there's something wrong with this die. It's a bit of dodgy Chinesium. So I whipped the other pillar out and checked that the 5/8 thread fitted there, and it fitted there fairly well, perfectly almost. Right? So then I checked the actual nominal outside diameter and it comes down to 615. Not 625, sorry, not 625. Yeah, 615, 615, right? 0.615. So I thought, well, what else can I do? This is not going to start. I'm going to turn it down to 0.615. So I turned it down to 0.615 and it started and it cut a thread. It wasn't a brilliant thread, but it cut a thread and it fitted and it's on. So what can I say? What can I say? I've had other dies from RDG. I've had square thread taps from RDG and they've all done the job admirably. I've never had a complaint, but I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what's going on with it. It looks alright, it looks sharp, and yet it cut a fairly awful thread. I can only think that metal, as I said to you when I was turning, that metal's bloody tough. This is tough, and I can only think that that's what the cause is. But there you go. Anyway, job's done. It's fixed in. It's tightened up. It's perfect. I've weighed on it, and the thread's strong enough, so that'll do it. And there's my little switch, which now switches my compressor on and off. Well, it does when it's switched on. So I can have that isolator on and use this socket without the compressor running. This was the whole idea of this, right? All that does is, this is the control circuit from the pressure switch, right? And that just breaks the control circuit in the same way that the pressure switch does, so that I can turn my socket on but have my compressor off. Now I have work to do to this compressor. It needs a 5 horsepower motor. It's got a 3 horsepower motor. I've got a 5 horsepower motor, and it also needs, as you can see, a new door making. And I've got some very nice over here. I've got some very nice, if you can see it, I don't know if you can, yes, there, corrugated aluminium, which will just make a nice outer skin for the door. I don't know what to make the frame of. The first sort of thing that leaps out would be lightweight box section, but I don't know if I've got enough. And making out of heavyweight box section seems a complete waste to me, because it just isn't necessary, and it would make it excessively heavy. It bolts on at that end, it slips behind there and bolts on at that end, so. But it needs something, it needs a proper door on. And then I need to service the compressor, put the 5 horsepower motor on, and I can go back to using my big compressor instead of that small rattly piece of junk that I use at the moment. It does the job, but God, it's noisy. Whereas you can tell that one is really nice and quiet. I mean, you get a proper door on it, you won't be able to hear it hardly at all. Right, okay, what are we on with next? What we're on with next is this. I've put my buttons back in, and as I said, that start and stop just lifts that. So I now have to come up with something to just push a button through there to trip that. So I'll make a start, and then I'll bring you back when I've got something half sensible. I should be so lucky. Bloody thing. Right, okay, well I don't know what went wrong there. I've just consulted Michael. Michael's just been up and we've just had a chat about it, and he says, yeah, it could be a blunt die, but it's very unusual that I mean, the tables obviously aren't wrong, but yet when you measure the outside diameter of the thread I already had, it was 615, not 625. So something's cockeyed somewhere. But yet the thread's gone in. It's definitely a BSF thread. It's 14 TPI. It couldn't be anything else. Baffled, but not bothered. Not going to let it get me down. Carry on. And here we are. One suppressor cap, beautifully insulated plastic. I've just turned. There was a ridge right there, which I've just clapped it in the lathe and turned it off. And you can imagine the spring in between there. It's not quite fitting correctly yet, it needs polishing, but there you go. I'll just show you that again, but this time I'll make sure you can see it. And that trips it. And with plenty of room, so it looks like this could be the thing. But I've had a distress call from Wicani. Apparently things are not going well up at Rehoboth. Keith was just cutting the grass and the tractor won't turn left. It'll turn right, but it won't turn left. So we're off up there to have a look at the tragic steering. See you up there. Well, if it isn't one thing, it's another. Now then. Oh dear. There is the quadrant. There is the steering mechanism. Oh no, don't do that, don't do that. You're buggering it. Right, okay. That looks easy to get to. Right, let's see what we can do with it. Once again, the donor tractor is called upon to make the ultimate sacrifice. The steering gear, the steering quadrant under there is gone, and so is the gear. So, and this one's really good, so it's having to be taken off and fitted to the other tractor. We can get great improvements here. What we should do is take this down to the workshop and strip it and rebuild it, and then swap the engines over. So many machines, so little time. I bet this one goes into reverse perfectly. Never mind. Mind you, while we're in here, we're also in the same area where the shifter is, and it's lost motion on the shifter that's stopping it going into reverse, I think. I'm not really sure. but it does sometimes go into reverse. Right, I'm going to stop waffling and crack on getting this to bits. I'm not going to film it because it's just tedious spannering and not very easy. Well, it's nearly 5:30 and we're calling it a day. We've got this steering strip down. We can't get the gear off. It is moving, but it's moving very slowly. We've had a heat gun on it, and I don't want to get blow lamps out so too close to the petrol, but it has come off a little bit. But as you can see, it's quite badly worn, as is the rack, as is the bearing. So I'm going to rebuild it with all the best bits tomorrow, and while we're on, I'm going to change the universal joint on the gear change, because this one's very worn. It's got a lot of lost movement in it, and that lost movement is why it won't go in reverse. So let's see what we can do tomorrow. Morning folks, Tuesday and another beautiful sunny day. The good news is the screws have come, and they seem to be correct, but I can't get them to start in the threads, and when I examine it very, very closely, what appears to be very small holes, short holes, could actually be sheared off screws. And I wonder if the reason we haven't got the screws is the fact that they sheared off when he tried to take them out. Why he tried to take them out, I don't know, because that could have stayed on, but it leaves us with the problem. Now I've just managed to get my a torch and mirror down that little slot down there, and got it stuck of course, but I got it out again, and the holes aren't drilled right through the casting, so it's difficult to tell whether they're sheared off or not. The screws are only 1/4 inch in the parts list. It says UNC number 6 by 1/4 inch, which is what I've got. And as I say, they appear to start, but they don't go in because there appears to be sheared off screws in there. So it looks like we're going to have to drill the bloody thing out and tap it anyway. So there you go. So if I do that, I think I'll probably tap it BA. I'll see what I've got in small taps. I could do it metric, I suppose. Right, anyway, first job, gather my tools together, grease guns and stuff, and go finish the tractor and get that steering again. Off we go. Continuing on, we have to get this gear off here so we can get the axle shaft out. You can see, I think, what's wrong with that gear, and the rack is in no better condition. It's been slipping, and also the where is it? This is off the other tractor. On that central bush is free on this. On this tractor it was seized up, which is why it's been bad to steer for ages. So let me get an extractor on there and see if I can pull that gear off. After several hours of cursing, getting in almost impossible to reach nuts and bolts. Oh, he's leaving a trail of smoke. It seems to be steering alright though. Probably steering better than it's ever steered in its life. I put the other universal joint on the gear change. Unfortunately it still won't select reverse, so we've got lost motion somewhere else for the look of it. The trouble is sometimes it will select reverse and sometimes it won't. There you go. Why is it on in a bit of oil? Poor old girl must be about knackered. Doesn't use a lot though. It does smoke, but you check it and check it and check it, and it seems fine. We top it up every second or third use. It gets topped up, but we check it every use. And there it goes. Right. For me, it's back to the workshop now after a coffee, and we'll sort out that bloody that saw once and for all. I see some drilling and tapping in the very near future. 3:30 Tuesday, folks, we're back in the workshop. The tractor is done, although it still won't select reverse reliably. And now I need to do this. I need to do this because that's the next job. I've been quite successful with this. I have found a suppressor cap which I've turned down, fits in there beautifully and trips it. So all I need is a little return spring there that will just hold it off, and the job's a good one. I might have to reduce that depth there until it's just right, but job's done, it's sorted. What isn't sorted is these threads. So now I'm going to raise this up to working height, probably on a hydraulic platform, and have a proper clamp it down and have a proper look at it, because you can't do much with it on the bloody floor, and it's too heavy to do much with anyway. Right, I'll crack on with that and I'll bring you back when I've got a decent look at it. I'm pretty sure there's sheared off screws in those holes. There is depth on each one of them, which probably lulled me into a false sense of security, because they're only 1/4 inch screws, so you don't need much thread, but to be honest there isn't any there that I can see. Right folks, here we are up on the lift. That, I can actually see that better through the camera. Whoops, now we've lost the focus now. And I think you may agree with me if we can get the camera and the light in at the same time. That not only has that got a sheared off screw in it, I think it's also got a broken drill in it. So somebody's been having a go. The others don't appear to have any broken bits in. That one might have. No, probably not. And they're quite deep enough to accommodate a 1/4 inch screw, given that there's also a metal plate and a gasket to go on. But the thread is not. It's not UNC. It's not. These screws. This screw just, it spins, and it starts in 1 or 2 of the screw holes, but won't go in. It just starts. So I think that these screws are not UNC. Now that manual that I've got, although it is Qualters and Smith 6 inch, it is a later model. See that one there? See, it starts in there quite readily. It's over at a horrible angle. It's over at a horrible angle. It's not at all square, but it won't go any further. And there's nothing down that hole. So I don't know what thread these are, so I'm going to have to do some experimenting with some screws. What a pain in the arse. I thought this was a straightforward it's always the same when you think it's a straightforward reassemble job, isn't it? It's always something that catches you up, but I'm pretty sure that is a broken drill in there. Damn you. Damn you. Struggle on. It's been a day of struggles today. I really struggled with that garden tractor. I wouldn't dare have filmed it because the language was absolutely blue. I couldn't get on the scrap tractor. I took the shelf out, which exposed everything to be stripped down, but on the tractor we're using the shelf won't come out. I can't get the bolts out, so I had to work with the shelf in and it was a sod, so I didn't film it, but it's fixed, thank God. Right, onward. Let me have a tinker with these threads, try some taps in. Look at that, folks, it's coming out, and I don't think it's a drill, I think it's a tap, but it's I could see it, I could see the top of it, I could see one flute, and I thought, oh, I can see another flute there, there's 2 flutes, it's a drill. Well, now I can see 3 flutes, and I think it's a tap, but what I've used is this tiny pair of long nose pliers, and I could just barely, after a couple of taps, what I've got here, this is my favourite, one of my favourite tools, right, it's brazed, I think it's brazed or welded in that, and it's a very hard pin, and the first thing I do is go to the fine grindstone and put a point on it, which you can see is now damaged, but it started to move, and I've got it started, and I think it's going to come out. And there it is, folks, the end of a tap. Right, okay, well, we've advanced to tech level because we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes that all go to full depth, but oh my God, the angle on them. They're all over the place. I think this was a job that they gave to apprentices, because these are awful. Right, let's see if we can do something with them. At least we won't be trying to drill through the end of a tap now. That should make it easier. I wish I could get this set up somewhere and drill something different. I'm not bothered about the paint, I can soon repaint it, but it's such an awkward thing to clamp. Theoretically, I could get it on the table of the milling machine, but I don't know if I'd have to spend hours packing it to get it vertical. I think I'd be better off for what it is. I think I'd be better off just maybe even using a hand drill, not a battery drill. I mean a little hand drill, just to bottom those holes out and re-tap them or do something with them. They're terrible, absolutely terrible, and I've got a the number 6 UNC is 32 TPI, and I've got a 32 TPI tap, but it's the next size up. Unfortunately, I've got nothing this size. I could do it in metric and I could do it in BA. Look at this one as well. Look how close that is to the edge of the casting. You know, oh dear me. Right, I'm just going to struggle on with this. I'm just going to struggle on and muddle on because I think with a bit of perseverance it can be done. Well folks, we've advanced another tech level. I've managed to break a drill, but luckily I broke it out of the hole, so I managed to pull the broken end out of it quite easily. But I've drilled all the holes, and a lot of them, well, all of them had muck in the bottom, lots of muck in the bottom. They're now much deeper than they were, and there are actually some of them that go right through. Well, at least those 3 do anyway. That one doesn't seem to. That one doesn't seem to. That one doesn't seem to. And that one doesn't seem to, but that, and that are through holes. And I have had a good tap in the bottom of them, so I'm sure that they're not through holes. But at least I've got a chance now of getting a tap in. And what size are they? The drill I broke was 7/64, and that appears to be the core diameter. That's going inside the existing thread. That goes in inside the existing thread. So let's get the metric tap set out and see if we can break some taps. Not. Well, I've made some progress. With this 530 seconds 32 TPI tap, I have managed to get good threads into those two which fit the UNC bolts. Now the UNC bolts, the number 6 UNCs, are also 32 TPI and they fit and they tighten up, but it won't start in the rest of the holes. So I'm feeling the rest of the holes are slightly, whoops, there goes my tap, oversized. So I'm going to pop down and see what Michael's got. But it's home time now, so I'll see you all tomorrow. And tomorrow, it's fence panel time. The fence panels have arrived. There's 2 of them. And there's the rest. So the first job is to handball them up the steps and into the field or somewhere safe. Here we go.
Here we go.
And just like that, 30 fence panels came galloping in through the gate and flung themselves at these trees. And now the easy bit, fitting them. And here we are, folks, back on bank top. So we've got to pack in now because Angela's got to go to the doctor and Keith got to take her. And it's about 2:30. She's got to be there at 3:15. So this is what we've got done. We've put outer rails on and we've got 3 fence panels on. And doesn't it look good? This is to effectively make a sound barrier. So 4 screws in each panel, holding it firmly to the rails. We couldn't put it on the inside because the dogs would destroy it. We couldn't fit it on the outside to the post, so we're putting extra rails on the outside and fixing it thus. And it's quite simple. 1 screw at each fixing point. They're really big butch screws, and on we go. So we'll crack on with this tomorrow. Flipping back to the Qualters and Smith saw, I was idly wandering on eBay like you do, and I saw a couple of number 6 UNC taps, so I've ordered them. They'll be here tomorrow probably, and so I'm going to have the right tap. What I did was I looked at the major, even though I've tapped it, what is actually 530 second 32, which is a Whitworth thread. The UNC is also 32 TPI and it fits and they tighten up. But if you look at the major diameter of a 530 seconds and you look at the major diameter of a number 6 UNC, there's 18 thou difference. And I'm feeling what I'm doing is creating a weak 32 TPI thread. So rather than bugger about, I thought I'd order the taps and put a proper thread in, and I can go in with a 3.1mm drill or thereabouts to take them out to the proper tapping size for number 6 UNC, and then I can tap them properly and then we've got a proper job done. Mr. Pedantic rides again. Right, I feel terrible. Keith feels terrible, but he started 2 days ago. I only started this morning. I got up I woke up in the middle of the night coughing and sneezing with a headache and a stiff neck. And I woke up this morning feeling awful. So it looks like I've got the dreaded COVID. But like everybody, we just work through it, you know. See you tomorrow. Well folks, rain stopped play. And I'm on the, we've just come out, flash, we've just come out to admire our work. And it's just started raining again. Jesus Christ. We best go back in the house, Keith, because it's going to strike a tree near us and fry us, isn't it? But there we are. Just before the rain, we managed to get it finished. So this section is now completed. Right the way to the end. Here we go, wrapping around the metal scaffolding under the trees on the wire mesh. There it is, all complete. Right, back to the house. Next job we have to do is clear all this mess. Start at the top, because we've got most of the fence is up. Start at the top putting panels on. Whoa. Wow. Right, in the house, Keith. In the house. That was close. That was close. Running back to the house. Keep away from the trees. I think that I haven't just recorded that because, as usual, the buttons were the wrong way around. This is a confusing camera, it confuses me anyway. Never mind. There you are. The fence comes out from behind the trees and leaps its way down to where it's going. We have reached the end of our existing fence, so we have to put some more posts in, which is cruel and punishing, but that's what's to do, so I suppose we'll have to do it. I tried to get Keith to pack it in, but he wouldn't, so there you go. He's a cruel taskmaster. Oh no, saucy. There she goes. Excellent. Job done, and it's just started raining. He's getting brave, this kid. I usually do this. But he's getting to be a stout-hearted man. Don't saw off anything that's going to make it fall on you. Come to the other side of it. Come to this side of it. That's it. Rain stop plate. Well, that's it, folks. We've had enough for today. The gently falling rain. We've got all that fence done. We've possibly one more day next week, and we'll be finished. About 4 posts to put in. 6, in fact it won't take us a day, because we're pointing the posts and knocking them in now with the post hole knocker, the post knocker, and that'll be it. So, thank you all for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you all next week. Don't forget to send me a like, send me some comments. We're going to have to do something with those gaps underneath the fence panels, but we can't do anything other than do it like that. That looks nice down there. I'm really pleased with that. And then we're going to go out on a fine day, and we're going to clear the bank down, cut all the dead trees up and get all the rubbish off the bank and clean it down, just to establish the fact in the village that it's ours and nobody else's. Sad having to cut that bit off that hawthorn, but it's right in the middle of the fence, and the tree's healthy enough and it can stand to lose it. And I was that distant thunder. Right, see you all next week. Bye now.